welcome to our channel. This is a super exciting week. If you're watching this right now, we are currently in New York City. And you should also know, I'm doing this out of order, but Spellbound is in stores. I'm super excited to say it. Spellbound is in stores today. If you haven't gotten it, you really should. So anyway, today's video though is sort of related to that. We're gonna talk about our publishing journeys, because we have two. What we did right the first time and what we did wrong the first time. And one list is longer than the other. And I'll give you 3 guesses as to which one's longer, and the first 2 don't count.
Before we get into that, I mean, Spellbound's out. You guys know we're excited. Go buy Spellbound. But on top of that, if you enjoyed this video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up, you subscribe to our channel, you turn on the notification bell so you never miss a Friday update, because we have got so much that is going to happen going from here on out, and we're excited to take you guys on the journey with us and continue to share with you all of our knowledge about writing.
Things we did right. There's a few things. One thing is that we kept pushing and querying and sending letters until we got a yes. We never gave up. That's a thing. That was cool. Good job.
And a yes might look different for everybody. Like, maybe your yes is after so much querying that you're going to let that go, but you still want to publish a book and you're going to move into self-publishing, which by no means should really be a second option for you.
We'll get to that later.
That's that could be your yes too. The next thing we did right was we wrote a book we were proud of. We were so proud of it that we went out of our comfort zone and we went out and we talked to bookstores and we set up book signings. And was it maybe with the first published book mostly Rachel's family that showed up for a book signing? Perhaps that is true.
Hey, there were friends too.
But there were a couple friends. Overall, we're very proud of what we had done at that time.
And the last thing, this was hard, okay? We did research on the company we published with. We actually knew someone from Wattpad who had published with them. So we were able to talk to her and find out some information about them and make sure that they were a legit company and not a scam place. So we did do research. So we knew that they were a legitimate company.
And that's it. Let's get into the longer list, which is what are the things that we did wrong, but we did it. Maybe we did it right this time. Number 1, we did not promote ourselves enough on social media. We went back to kind of look at this
is awful.
And our first post for Edge of the Veil on Instagram was like, it was not even a month ahead of release.
It was like
what were we thinking? It was like 2 weeks ago. We're publishing this book. We did such a turnaround on this when we found out that Spellbound was going to be published this time, which was about 18 months ago. We went into high gear. We knew we had to really, really hit our social media much harder than what we already were. And we had already gotten better than what we were, but now we were like really gonna hit it. So it became a major focus from day one, even before we were allowed to announce that we were publishing.
We couldn't tell anyone that we were publishing, but you know what we could do? We could build our TikTok way up and make sure that we were getting followers on there, followers on Instagram, which granted, I will admit, we have a much bigger following on TikTok. It's hard to get followers on Instagram, but we're trying. So we did as much as we could do, and then as soon as we could announce, which was June 23rd, 2021, as soon as we were legally allowed to announce about Spellbound, we did. And I was on vacation, and we still managed to find time to do it. So we did everything we could. We do everything we can every single day to promote. You have to promote yourself months before it's released. Maybe even a year. Not days. Jesus Christ. Not days.
And if you want to know about the proper way to be doing things on TikTok so you're growing and authentically growing and connecting with people, we'll put a link to a video.
The next thing we didn't do, we didn't have a team of people behind us helping us hype it up. We had people like that had read Edge of the Veil on Wattpad that like were excited for us, but they weren't like posting on social media. So you have to have that. So this time we have a whole street team, the night staff, who are behind us all the time, doing videos for us, posting graphics, posting snippets from the book, all kinds of stuff. Plus, not just them, like they're amazing. Like they're obviously our top like hype crew. But there's other people too that aren't on the street team who are also posting things, who have read arcs of the book, who have read the book on Wattpad. You have to have that stuff.
The third thing that we did wrong was honestly part of our editing process. If you don't know this, a lot of publishers, especially when you are a debut author, they really have word restrictions on how long your book can be. And that is because the longer your book, the more paper, the more expensive, and our readers going to pay that higher price for 100,000 words compared to a lower price if you kept it around 80,000 words, let's say. So we had to choose what we were going to take out. And what we ended up taking out of Edge of the Veil, really in this market that we're in and how much spice sells in the romance market especially, we cut our spice down. And we look back on that and we're like,
we regret that.
We wish we would have left more of the spice in there. Now that could be anything for you. Like you wish you could go back and look like you had a really good side character and that was a strong story that was going to play into your main plot and you cut that. I mean, it could have ended up being many things, but for us, it actually ended up being the spice.
The next thing is we may have researched their legitimacy as a company. We did do that, but we did not research enough of what they said about getting our books into bookstores. They failed to mention that bookstores won't generally order books that are print on demand because they can't return them. It's a big risk. Nowadays, with Book Talk, they are doing that. They're doing that with authors that are well known. But authors like us who are not well known, no. We had to beg Barnes & Noble to order like 2 or 3 copies of Edge of the Veil. Like it was sad. It was a sad day.
The other thing that we put a lot of like stock into was we thought that having a publisher meant that they would do kind of some heavy lifting in the marketing of our book. And that was the wrong way to look at it. Wattpad Books has done so many really great things for us and like really invested in us and invested in Spellbound. But just because they did that, it didn't mean that we were placing all the responsibility on them to market Spellbound. Mm-hmm. We understood now that we played a major role in the marketing. And we were going to, there's things that when we went to Wattpad, like we went in one of our first like marketing meetings and we had like a whole outline and we were like, these are all of our plans. And some of them, they were like, those we can do, and other ones they were like types of that kind of thing, but not really what we wanted to see. So we invested in ourselves, and those things that they couldn't produce for us or they didn't see the benefits in them, but we did, we took control of that and we did that ourselves. And that's okay, because now we look at it and we understand we're a partnership. If we do well for Spellbound, they get to do well for Spellbound. Yep. And vice versa. So it didn't really matter as much as, of course, financially, because we're still, we're still small authors. We would have loved them to take up the bulk of stuff, but we're still new to their publishing house and we have some proving to do. And hopefully we do it with Spellbound and they come back and they would like to publish another book with us. And now we have some leverage when we go in, because we go, come on, you guys know how well we did with Spellbound. If you got, we're a good investment. Mm-hmm. So really what that comes down to, us taking control of certain things that we really wanted to do that they weren't so much on board with. And if those things work out in our favor, that's going to work out for our favor, not just for Spellbound, but for future things, because we can now go, you know how valuable we are.
Yeah.
And that's really what we want. We want to establish our value here at the beginning. The minute you establish your value with selling those books is the moment that publishers start pouring more financially into you. And so that's really, really important.
Lastly, this really goes along with that. This all kind of wraps this up. We thought publishing a book was pretty much enough to sell a book. You publish it, people are going to buy it.
If you build it, they will come.
I don't think we really believed that. I think we knew that people weren't just going to pick it up and read it. But I do think that we thought it was going to be easier than what it was.
I think that what we thought was that having the term published with Edge of the Veil was automatically giving it some credibility. And then the credibility would kind of lean into more sales.
Yeah.
Like, we knew it probably wouldn't be like a really great big, USA Today bestseller book, but we definitely thought we would, just because now we had this term behind it.
Right.
It would spark curiosity alone. And I think we learned that wasn't so much the case, because there's many, many books published and more flop than don't.
Right.
That's everything that we have learned so far, working with 2 different publishers, and the growing experience of it, the changing of our minds, the understanding the parts that we play, understanding the partnership between us and the publisher, and our responsibilities versus their responsibilities. I can tell you that when we publish a 3rd book, each time will be so much easier, because we're setting these expectations of how it needs to be done, and we're working with it with what works and what doesn't work. So we'll hope that helps you. If you are starting off publishing, your first time with the publisher, these are the things that you should and should not expect. And good luck.
And go buy Spellbound, please.
And as always, write what you love.